Hey, I'm Tony Sometimes. And tonight in the Sauce Pod, a Pennsylvania teen who has devised a way to save the government millions. What happened when a Georgia bank mistakenly deposited $31,000 into a teen's account. 14 photos that will restore your faith in humanity. And number 12 will blow your mind. Episode 142 of the Sauce Pod is next. Good evening, Saucepod streamers from coast to coast. It's me, Tony Sometimes, and this is episode number 142 of the Sauce Podcast, coming at you live from inside the FingerLakes1.com studios deep beneath historic downtown Seneca Falls, New York. It's Monday, March 31st, 2014, and as usual, I'm joined up here tonight by my saucy compañeros, Dandy Aaron D.
I'm confused.
New intro got you confused?
I don't know what's going on.
And Saucy Joe.
It's the most alert you've ever been. It seems to have worked. Seems to have done its job.
And Mysterious Taco Girl is not in attendance tonight for the second straight week. Something suddenly came up. I suppose. But last day of March, Dandy, last week you said that the weather was going to be warm a week from then when it was very cold. And you were right. It is beautiful outside right now as it's dusk here in the Finger Lakes region.
It's not bad, except for that fucking snowstorm over the weekend.
Yeah, it's all melting away, over 60 degrees tomorrow. This could be a sign that spring has finally sprung. And, you know, also tomorrow is April Fool's Day.
All right.
And so be on alert because people are going to be pulling hijinks.
Pranksters.
Now, I came across a list of pretty good April Fool's jokes that I'll run through you on a site called, what is it called? It's called strangebeaver.com. And before I do that, though, I'm getting a little annoyed with all these headlines that say 12 ways to do this and number 8 will bring you to your knees. And what's up, Dandy? Something got a
There was like
funny text?
No, the way you started that off sounded like a Kenny Stepenny's rant.
Oh, you mean the new intro? You're still hung up on the new intro?
No, what you just said.
Oh.
You know what's been annoying me?
You know what really annoys me about the internet these days are these lists.
Where are you seeing these lists?
You don't see, they're everywhere.
They're everywhere. 12 things you didn't know existed, and why number 3 will blow your mind. You haven't seen any of that?
Like on websites?
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly on social media sites, people share them. I mean, they're highly popular types of content, but they're all junk, and, you know, they never live up to the hype of the headline. So I stopped clicking on any of them. I don't mind if you want to make a list.
I saw something about Seneca Falls. Is that one of them? Like 27 things you didn't know about Seneca Falls or something?
No, but that's done in the same vein. I mean, if he said number 4 will make you want to move to Waterloo,
Right.
then that would be. But because I don't mind people publishing these articles that end up being lists. You know what I mean? But it's that kicker that they get you, because a lot of people think, oh, I wasn't going to look at this, but if 12 is going to blow my mind, maybe I'll just take a peek at 12. But it's a marketing tactic. And Dandy, you are out of sorts because you've moved. We did a little rearranging here in the studio.
I'm looking at 2 different TVs. There are 2 different camera angles, it seems like.
Yep.
Freaking me out. I'm all over the fucking place.
It's all part of a bigger plan. You can read about it.
Are they the same?
No, they're different. And I got you here, head on.
Yeah, I don't like this.
And I got you over here to the side. We've done it before.
I don't like it.
you're hurting Dandy.
Yeah, you can.
It's too much media in my face.
You can read about it tomorrow on FingerLakes1.com. It'll be titled 12 Ways the FingerLakes1.com studio is changing, and number 8 will blow Dandy's mind. But anyways, April Fools. Got to be on the lookout. And here on this website, smartbeaver.com, we got some fun and simple April Fool's Day pranks. Like, Like this one here, put a little lubricating jelly into the Germex. So when you think you're washing your hands, you're really putting lubricating jelly on your hands.
That'll make you very slippery.
Or this one, rearrange the keyboard keys of a coworker to say things like, I love Justin Bieber's balls. Sack. That's funny. And it's something that can easily be done. It's fun and simple. Here's a simple, fun and simple one.
Oh, the old air horn behind the door trick. Classic.
Yep, you open the door and the air horn goes off. I mean, you gotta be careful with April Fool's jokes because some of them could harm the intended target of your joke. And I don't think anybody wants to injure anybody with some of these jokes. You ever been injured anybody with an April Fool's Day joke, Dandy?
No, I don't think I've ever seen an April Fool's Day joke.
No, come on.
Yeah, maybe when you're in like a young kid in school, but like as an adult, I've never seen one done or had one or done one. I don't get festive about April Fool's Day.
No, it's not a festive day, that's for sure. But you gotta be on the lookout. You never know. And you've been pranked by the media several times during those your adult years. Remember when Sports Illustrated ran the Curious Case of Sid Finch? You're a Mets fan.
No, I don't.
Well, what they did was on the article or the episode or issue that came out on April 1st of probably it was 1987, 88.
I was 6 years old.
Well,
How am I going to remember that?
Anyways, they ran an article about this guy named Sid Finch that nobody knew about that they found on the farm. And that he was throwing like 123 mile per hour fastballs, and they did the whole layout with pictures and everything. And back then, that was before the internet. So I remember reading this as I was young too, not quite as young as you, but I was a high schooler probably, and I was like, "Dang, look at this guy!"
Say Finch.
And only slowly later did it come out that it was an April Fool's joke. But
And he was on the Mets?
Well, the joke was, I mean, they showed him at Mets training camp in Florida throwing pitches with Mets players. I mean, it was a big production.
The 86 Miracle Mets?
It was about that time. And the article was entitled The Curious Case of Sid Finch.
The Mets lost today in extra innings.
In opening day. Well, next year is right around the corner, Dandy.
Oh my goodness.
Such a heartbreaker.
Yeah, 161 more to go. So back to some of these April Fool's Day jokes. Apparently, if you put a paper sticky over a laser pointer, you can block the light, and then when they go to check, they'll see they've been had.
When you try to use their mouse.
Oh yeah, is that a mouse or a laser pointer?
I think it's a mouse. You got to be more familiar with your Apple mice.
Oh, you can put mayonnaise inside the donuts. Oh, yeah, that would be gross. Because you would unknowingly bite into...
I'd be pissed.
You'd unknowingly bite into the donut thinking you were going to have some sweet Boston cream inside or jelly, and it would be mayonnaise.
You've been had.
Somebody would get punched.
You've been had.
That would be a bad one. Here's a harmless one. Put a little nail polish on a bar of soap, and then when someone goes to use the soap, it won't lather.
Classic.
That's what you get for using bar soap in 2014.
You don't use bar soap ever anymore?
No.
Man.
I'll push pump soap for you.
Foaming hand soaps?
Yeah.
So you better look out for the lubricating jelly joke tomorrow. I hope somebody's listening and gets you with that tomorrow. You need to get a good April Fool's prank.
I hope somebody gets you good.
I'll be on the lookout now. Can't fool me.
Let's see what else we got here. Oh, here's a April Fool's joke involving a pie. You give somebody a pie, and then when they open it up, they see that you've carved it all out except for that part that shows through the window. That's not a very good one.
It's kind of funny.
Ketchup prank. Why somebody's going to be like, oh, thank you, I got this pie. And then they open it up and say, oh, it's only less pie than I thought.
As soon as you touch it, you're going to know.
Thank you for this
That's
piece
true.
of pie.
I mean, that would be more pie than I would need right there.
It's more pie than I expected to get. Anyway, in a day. Free pie.
For the ketchup prank, apparently all you needed is a bottle of ketchup and baking soda. And you turn the ketchup bottle upside down.
Okay, then what?
And then you put 2 spoonfuls of baking soda in ketchup bottle as soon as you turn it right side up. Note, ketchup still on the sides of the bottle. Screw the cap back on, allow for the ketchup to run down the sides, covering the baking soda. Do not shake.
Okay.
And then apparently when somebody opens it, it will splatter 12 feet off the ground into the ceiling.
That's terrible.
Note, ketchup is hard to clean off a 12-foot high ceiling if you don't own a ladder. Empty bottle of ketchup. Have fun with the cleanup.
Imagine how furious someone would be with you if you did that to them. That's not funny at all.
I would play dumb. I'd be, I don't know what happened.
That's crazy.
It's hilarious as long as it doesn't happen to you.
Yeah,
that would suck if it happened to you.
You better sue that ketchup manufacturer.
Why does it explode?
Probably because
Science.
of the vinegar in the ketchup, I would imagine.
Oh, there you
In the
go.
baking soda.
Here's a joke where what is that on the door there?
That's called a party popper.
So you put a party popper with a string on the door, and that's a method, age-old method of booby trapping a door
It's
right
not
there.
a string. That's the string that's actually in the bottle.
Oh, yeah, that's the party popper puller.
And so what happens with party popper? It shoots out like ribbons.
Ribbons, and it makes a loud cracking noise.
Yeah, so you could get somebody that way tomorrow.
Much akin to the British cracker.
That's easy. What I would do, though, is I would probably, if I
Put
was
10
going to
of
do
them
that,
on the door.
every single door in the house. So as the victim moved through the house or office, they would continually keep happening again. Soon they become paranoid.
You are a right good prankster.
And let's see. Oh, if you got a coffee drinking coworker, you can make fun of them by putting messages on the bottom of their cup so when they drink it, everybody else sees
That
it.
guy.
What's that say?
It says, I'm a twat.
Yeah,
That guy's a twat.
Or the other one, office bitch.
Office bitch. I'm a twat.
Oh, here's another scientific one involving coffee creamer, Alka-Seltzer, coffee mug, and a hammer. Step 2.
If someone gets hit with that hammer.
Step 1, assemble those items. Step 2, unwrap all the Alka-Seltzers.
Okay.
Step 3, with your hammer, crush all the Alka-Seltzers into a fine coffee cream-like powder.
There's a better way to do that than with a hammer, but
Blender.
anything other than a hammer would probably do better.
A cup.
And then what do? You put that in the coffee creamer container?
And then step 5, carefully put coffee creamer back. Be careful.
Because it's what? It's not stable at this point.
And act natural. It's only a matter of time. For the ease of cleanup, perform this prank outside. I guess it foams over like that. Good times.
Oh, man. Imagine the hilarity.
And apparently Strange Beaver thinks we would also like Prank Bank, Organ Donor Frank, Groom Falls for Garter Prank, Hot Girl CPR Prank,
Prank bank.
90s Flashback Prank. So there you go, strangebeaver.com. Put that list together. Just some ideas to get you started on your April Fool's Day planning.
Southpaw is not responsible for any damages.
Ketchup stains on the ceiling. So, I called the customer service number today, and they said, for faster service, enter your account number. So I said, oh, I'll do that. I'm in. I'm game. So I type it in, hit the pound key, and then I wait. And then somebody answers, and they go, the first thing they say is, can I have your account number, please?
That's so dumb. I've had that happen before.
Makes me so mad. Stupid. Why type it in if you're going to have to tell it to them again in a second? I just typed it in. So, well, hey, last day of March. Before we get into it, we should find out what everybody is drinking up here tonight.
Man drink like that and he don't eat. He is going to die.
We serve hard drinks in here for men who want to get drunk fast.
Bet, babe, slide a piece to the porter. Next I run the job.
Look at here.
Saucy Joe, what are you drinking?
This is not going to be a great segment tonight.
You came without a drink?
I'm not drinking anything.
That's crazy. Is it the warm weather? It's got you.
I rushed out of my house. I don't know.
Wow. Dandy.
I'm going to change it up a little bit tonight.
Okay.
Nothing.
Danny's
see?
not drinking anything. Well, I think this is the first time ever that we've had nobody drinking anything, or more than one person not drinking anything. But I have a large coffee with cream and 1 sugar from the Dunk.
I run the job. Look at here.
A man drink like that and he don't eat, he is going to die.
Now that was the worst segment of What Are We Drinking ever, unless you don't like that segment, in which case it was the best.
Right.
Because we moved right through it. You can send feedback to info@thesaucepot. If you don't like the What You're Drinking segment, or you do, let us know. Maybe we'll either remove it or embellish it, depending on the response, I suppose. But it's one of the longest running segments, if not the longest running segment on the Saucepot, going back to probably episode 8.
Yeah, it was one of the earliest too, along with Stu's News.
Yep. And we had a lot of other crazy segments that we just don't do anymore. Like when we used to read the Hardy Boys, which we should bring that one back.
That was a good one.
We take roles and read the Hardy Boys. And with Mysterious Taco Girl now, we have someone for the female characters.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't just have to talk in a high pitch. So speaking of movies, I saw a movie called Adult World this weekend. And it's with John Cusack and Emma Thompson, and the whole thing's filmed in Syracuse. Were you guys aware that this movie existed?
I've known about it since lunchtime.
Andy, ever heard of it? John
No.
Cusack movie. It was in the news when they were filming it, like a year ago, and now it's all cut up and edited, and it's actually in the theaters, but it's also on Time Warner as one of those, you can buy it while it's in the theater because it's not a wide release. But it's filmed in Syracuse, and I lived in Syracuse for 4 years, and everybody who lives around here is familiar with it. You watch this movie, and there's all these places that you've been and know. It's kind of strange. And it's a good movie on top of that. I mean, originally I just watched it because I wanted to check it out, because it was filmed in Syracuse, and John Cusack's in it. But it ended up being
I feel like we've
really
talked
good
about
movie.
this before because we've talked about John Cusack many times.
It's because many people believe that I look like John Cusack, or used to at least. I've been told that, so I've talked about that before a few times in my...
He might be the most talked about actor on the Sauce Pod.
You think so? Yeah, it's possible.
Who else would
He's
be
been
contenders?
he's been on a substantial amount of episodes.
Can't think of any
There's
other...
probably even one named after him. Or at least there's a picture of him.
Oh, there's certainly one with a picture of him.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. No doubt. We're going to have to start hiring our own historian.
We need a statistician to collect all that info.
Keep track of this important data. But anyways, I would totally recommend that movie to anybody who likes movies and has ever been to Syracuse.
I wouldn't recognize anything in that movie. I don't know Syracuse at all.
Oh, you would recognize things. I mean, they're on campus. They're down. You would recognize it 100%.
If you brought me to Syracuse, I'm lost. Everywhere.
You go to Syracuse games, though. You go to the Dome, so you
I
walk
never
right,
drive.
But you walk right through campus. A lot of that's right on the It's in the campus and the
Yeah,
city.
but what I'm saying is if you brought me there and left me and told me, all right, I'm going to leave you here, get to the game. I mean, I could find my way, but I don't know where I'm going there.
Yeah, but
at
well,
all.
you would recognize some of the
I couldn't drive
scenes.
to a game by myself and get to the game. Definitely not.
You could use GPS on your phone.
Yeah, but they just tell you to recalculate.
What is going on
everything.
right with you two right now?
I want to make sure he understands that if he watches that movie, he would see the places and recognize them. But he's
What if he
saying that
wouldn't?
he can't drive to a game and get there
I'm
himself.
saying I don't know. I've been to Syracuse maybe a
And
dozen
he's
times
saying that he doesn't know Syracuse
at all, and you're telling me I do.
No, I'm telling you that you'll recognize the scenes because you walk up to the game, and some of them are
Yeah, but if I was watching the movie, I wouldn't be like, "Oh my God, that's Syracuse University."
Yeah.
the opening shot of the whole movie. You would is the first thing you'd say because you can see the Carrier Dome.
Don't try and defend yourself, Danny.
I know. I'm not gonna win.
Well, you can see the Carrier Dome in the opening shot.
So that's a recognizable landmark.
But I guess we'll just have to disagree to disagree. Another fun show on TV is Cosmos with Neil Tyson deGrasse. Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, sure.
Yeah, that's a good show. It's up to episode 3, and the one thing about episode 2 was when they talked about evolution. And one thing that I guess makes sense, but when you think of evolution in certain species adapt to their environment, that there's some sort of magical thing going on there. But what happens is it's just a mutation within like a colony of a certain species, like polar bears, take for example. A polar bear was once born with a mutation that made their skin white, fur white, and this happened a few times, but those polar bears ended up thriving and producing more offspring with that same mutation, and then thus after thousands of years, polar bears became polar bears.
Right,
and
they
their
weren't
own
polar
species.
bears at that point.
Right, they were just white-haired bears. But up in the north where there was snow, they could hunt better, and it was an advantage. But when you think about evolution, a lot of times you just assume, oh, well, those bears were living up in the snow, so because of the way evolution works, their skin turned white. It's just a random mutation. There's thousands of other random mutations that happen within a colony, but some of them just are irrelevant. Some of them are put you at a disadvantage. But the ones that put you at an advantage, just by pure chance, are the ones that end up shaping the growth of your species and the branching out. Anyways, hey, I'd watch that show if you want to learn about the universe. Or the cosmos.
The cosmos, sure.
Yeah, the cosmos. So, Dandy, you got a choice for us this week?
Yep.
Nice. This is a part of the show where Dandy R&D gives us 2 choices to make, and you got to choose one or the other. But it's not as simple as you might think.
A man drink like that and he don't eat, he is going to die.
We save hard drinks in here for men who want...
That is the intro to the last segment.
It was so good the first time.
Dandy's choice, however, is coming up here.
All right, you ready for this one?
This looks like it's going to be a good one.
You either have 2 fully functional camel humps,
For storing food and
Water?
fats and water.
okay, or you have crab claws as hands.
Well, it seems like one is advantageous and one is not.
Yeah, crab claws, there's no advantage to that really at
Well,
all.
you could be a pretty
Nutcracker?
awesome, or assassin. People would always want to hire you.
Well, you could
Train
would
yourself
leave
to be a deadly enemy.
You'd leave no fingerprints,
You wouldn't.
but you'd have trouble like opening a door.
Yeah, you couldn't get into a door.
So in certain situations, you'd be a highly specialized hired,
Claw.
or you have 2 camel humps. Now, are the camel humps proportional to your size? Like if you're a small guy, your humps are they're not like.
They're proportional to how they would be on a camel.
Yeah, they're
So
big
they-
on a camel, so they'd be big on you.
Well, a camel wouldn't look like a camel if he didn't have the same humps that he has. So 2,
It's very awkward to have camel humps.
what's that called? What is that? Is that the dromedary, the 2 humps, or is that the 1 hump?
I don't know. I've always
There's
preferred
there's
one
certain
hump
kind of-
animals to 2 humps.
There's a couple kinds of camels. Some have 1 hump and some have 2.
But Dandy's saying
2
2.
fully functional.
Fully functional humps.
And you think it's an advantage, but it's really not an advantage. I mean, humans.
You'd
it
have
is
to have
if you live in
specially made clothes.
if you live in an arid climate, I suppose it would be advantageous. But other than that, it's a total nightmare. You probably have back problems.
You can't sleep on your
You'd
back.
have to sleep on your side at all times.
And you couldn't even walk straight.
You'd
You'd
have
have
a amazing business hosting children's parties though.
It's true.
Ring toss.
Well, and
Or
yeah,
in
and they could
circus.
ride you. It would just be. You could charge for that. That would be your whole
Your
gig.
knees would be in awful shape.
I'm going to take the
Well.
crab claws. I'm going to be the first to decide. I'm going with crab claws. As silly and ridiculous
I
as
like
that would
kids.
be.
I'm going with the camel humps.
You can do children's party with
No,
claw.
you'd be a hideous beast. No one would want to come near you with crab claws for fear of you chopping their head off.
Dandy?
Snap with one snap, you could remove their skull.
I think I'm gonna go with lobster claws too.
Really?
Wait a second. I thought we said crab claws.
Crab claws, lobster claws.
Well,
What's
they're
the
different.
difference?
There's a different crustacean, man.
Lobster claws, I think, are more powerful than crab claws.
I think they are too.
It's all the same to me.
I would eat my own hands. I would crack it open and eat
Crabs-
the sweet meat underneath.
Crabs
Don't
have
their claws
long-
fall off anyways, and don't they have to grow back?
Maybe. Yeah, they can lose a claw.
And it'll regenerate?
Yeah, they can regenerate. Certain.
So at
Lobsters.
some points in your life, you'd have one.
Crab-
We'd only have one claw.
Crab claws are mostly longer. You know what I mean? Longer and thinner. Lobster claws are more round and pinchy.
You got that big one.
I want to go with
That's right.
lobster. Lobster claws.
How come? What you're thinking?
Like you said, I'd probably eat them.
How big would they be? You just eat your own hands and let them grow back.
Dip them in butter.
Finally.
Oh, actually, that's true. They would grow back. Would it hurt if you ate them?
I don't think so.
Of course it would.
I don't
Let's
think cracking it would hurt.
Let's
but
not make this like the greatest choice ever. Like you get free crab meat for the rest of your life just because.
I don't
your
even
hands
like crab meat, but I'll come to like it.
Yeah.
I'd open up a lobster roll company.
You could not masturbate if you
No.
were a lobster claw man.
Well, at least not the way you traditionally do.
No, you find other ways to enjoy it.
All right, who's got the other?
I think it's
Pick tonight,
Saucy
yeah.
Joe's turn this
I mean,
week.
it's obviously Mysterious Taco Girl's.
Yeah, but we got to skip her.
That's why she's not showing up. She's scared.
All right, what if? What if? Oh man, this is so difficult. I don't have the same.
Go on your iPad and find one.
I don't have the same.
Distorted view of
Yeah.
reality that
I got a good half of one too.
What if, in order to taste anything, you had to stick your foot in it, like dip your toe in it?
and eat it off your toe.
No, you just taste it with your toe.
Oh, so your
First.
mouth doesn't taste, your toe
Right.
tastes. Are you still?
No, your mouth doesn't taste. You still have to consume with your mouth.
So,
But you have to, if you wanted to taste it, you'd have to touch your toe.
all right. Or
Danny's like, yeah, I like that.
Every time you fart, you shit a little bit.
Well, that's already
Every single time.
every single time.
I think I'd go with the farting thing.
Yeah, I probably.
And I would just make sure that I didn't, get into any situations where I unexpectedly let one rip. Probably have to change my diet a little bit, but would already change your diet having to dip your foot in something and not enjoy the taste of it when you eat it.
You wouldn't want to eat like really hot things.
I'm dipping my toe in it. That'd be awesome.
See, Danny likes this. I knew this was right up your alley. You're a weird man. You're a weird
I
man.
could taste stuff that's like 4 feet away from me.
That's true.
Be like, I don't like that. I'm not going over there.
Slide that over here, he'd say, and you'd dip your toe in it.
Nobody else would eat it.
Right, and then no one
So
would wanna
then
eat it.
what you would do is you would have 2 bowls of everything. You'd have one bowl in your
You
hand
stick your
that you're
foot in it.
eating and one
That's-
bowl that you stick your foot in, so you're tasting
You
it.
really saw right through this, Danny.
That is a good way to get around it.
I'm not getting around it.
You're just making the best of it.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's a good segment this week.
What sauce did Joe pick?
Oh, yeah. I might go with the foot thing. Because food, it doesn't really thrill me too much anyway.
Yeah, I don't want to be walking around with shit pants all the
No.
time.
And food, whatever. I eat it to live. It's pretty good. But I don't seek it out. Like, I need to eat delicious food all the time.
I mean, I like food, but I don't go out
I
of my
do
way.
too, but I don't mind bland food.
Food is one of the great joys of life, the pleasure you get in consuming, because you're also fulfilling one of your most basic needs. Food never lets you down. It's only the guilt that's associated with eating that lets
I've
you down.
never felt guilty about eating anything.
Well, that's because you are
Ever.
very svelte. You don't have to battle with weight like I do.
I see you didn't bring your scale again.
Oh, I know. I forgot.
You've been saying that since episode 11.
No, I'll do it. I just got to be in a place that sells scales and remember.
Last time you suggested you were going to bring a scale, we were still doing Stu's news.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of history. Too bad we couldn't go to the historian for the call.
We had a historian, didn't we, at one point?
Yeah, she
When we
became a
first
part of the
started?
show.
No. There was another. Statman Drew.
Statman Drew.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
right.
he stopped listening. There's a blast from the past.
Well, Statman Drew did stop listening.
Sam Drew, if you are listening, research that, whatever that was.
Selfies gone wrong. 10 most embarrassing celeb selfies. That's on Facebook right now.
Yep. And they've done a lot of research to determine that those are the 10 most
10 most embarrassing.
Oh, that's where they are?
They're everywhere.
I think I just
mostly
skipped
Facebook.
right over those things.
Statman Drew actually posted 27 pranks you need to really own April Fool's Day, which is
Wow.
the segment we just did there. That was the same article.
He's
this one's
in
on-
tune with us.
Through BuzzFeed.
Yeah,
by a Tricky Beaver, or whatever it was called. Sneaky Beef.
Feed is probably a close to $1 billion company, and all they do is make those lists.
Just feed buzz. That's what they do.
Maybe not billion, but maybe so. By posting silly little things, and people look at them, and you're able to monetize it by the views. It's all bets are off nowadays.
Yeah.
All bets are off. Speaking of things on the internet, how about our tweets of the week? Actually, I misspoke. It's tweet of the week. And this week's tweet of the week comes from @shitwasselcash, who tweets, "Have you guys ever seen this trick? When someone's sleeping, you can take a glass of warm water, put their hand in it, then you pee on them."
That was in the spirit of and delivered like Norm Macdonald. That was how that joke was done.
I think all these are because I heard a rumor that it's coming back. His podcast is coming back, and when I was searching on YouTube for it, I came across like 3 other Norm Macdonald interviews.
That was said how Norm would have said it.
Well, everybody knows the old trick. But this is a twist on it.
That's how Norm does
Instead
his
of-
jokes.
Right. @Bridger_W tweets, "You always hear a stake through the heart is an effective way to kill a vampire, but actually it's an effective way to kill lots of things."
It's true.
@Julius Sharp tweets, "Hey, movie villains, make a bomb where the wires are all one color."
That's smart thinking.
Guys like MacGyver wouldn't know what to do. And @ScullyMike tweets, "Before I watch any new network comedy, I say to myself, this better be filled with diversity." And that's the best that the internet had to offer this week in terms of tweets. Did Polly always teach us anything this week?
He did.
Wow. Well, this is first time back in 2 weeks for Polly Always, I think. And I'm excited because this is a part of the show where Polly Always sends in one fact that nobody probably knew before this. So by listening to the Sauce Pod, you actually learn something every week, at least the weeks that Polly remembers to send the email. So here it is.
Today I learned with Polly Always.
It's opening day, baseball season.
Indeed.
This is along those lines. This one here. Greetings, my Sauce Pod friends. Today I learned of one of the more notorious trades in baseball history. In March of 1973, mere days before the start of the regular season, New York Yankees starting pitchers Fritz Peterson and Mike Kekich. Is that how you pronounce his name? Mike Kekich or Kekich? Kekich?
I'm not sure.
I'm going to go with Kekich. Fritz Peterson and Mike Kekich, Yankees pitchers, held separate press conferences to announce to the world that they were swapping wives, children, houses, and pets. During the off-season, the two pitchers, who socialized regularly, had fallen in love with each other's wives and decided to make the switch.
I heard of this one.
The announcement, which occurred only a few weeks after the team was purchased by longtime owner George Steinbrenner, rocked the Yankees clubhouse and proved a major distraction throughout the 73 season, with Peterson ultimately being traded to the Cleveland Indians. Mike Kekich and Fritz Peterson's wife, Marilyn Peterson, would soon split up after the swap. But Fritz Peterson and Suzanne Kekich proved a better match and remain married to this day. Wishing you a happy opening day. I am Paulie Always, P.S. Fuck Roger.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, what were their names? Pete and
Fritz and Mike. Fritz Peterson.
What do you think happened? They were good friends, and
They hung
Fritz
out.
was like, Pete, I think I'm falling in love with your wife. And then Pete says, it's crazy because I love your wife.
He was probably thinking, oh man, I'm either going to blow our friendship right now or things are really going to work out. I'm going to get with Marilyn.
Got to get this off my chest.
I love your wife.
And they're
Sounds to me
let's
like-
just swap kids and dogs too, and houses.
Sounds to me like those two couples were the most boring couples in the world, and they just needed a change.
I don't know. It's very unboring.
Sounds like the most exciting thing ever.
How do you tell your kids? How do you tell your kids and dogs?
Uncle Mike's going to be your new daddy.
Yeah. No, we love you, Fritz.
Sorry, we're swapping your friends. Janie and Pete are now my kids, and
their dog, Rover.
I picture these guys with like twirly mustaches.
Yeah, like Raleigh fingers.
Yeah. Kind of like a permed hairdo coming out of the back of their baseball cap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is 73. They decided to swap wives. It was very distracting.
Yeah, I imagine it would be. Yeah, I do remember that. That's a fact that I already knew. It's just crazy.
Well,
Why
what's
did you
crazy
know
is that
that?
the women went along with it.
They must have equally been in love with the other spouse, and then the
They
kids.
were probably the two that initiated. They probably got together and they were like,
Maybe.
dude, I hate my husband. And the other one's like, me too.
I
You
hate
want
my
to
husband.
switch?
That's more like, that seems like a more likely scenario where they got together and complained about their husbands. Like, oh man.
And then the other one said,
him.
and they kept defending their other husband, the other wife's husband.
Oh no, Fritz has some good qualities.
Well, if you like him, you have him.
He has a really luxurious mustache. Not like my Mike.
With the permed hair coming out of his cap.
Yeah. I like permed hair, she says.
I'll
Maybe
perm
we
his
should
hair for
swap.
him.
Well, if we do, you have to take the kids and dog too. Fair enough.
Good. My dog sucks.
Fair
I
enough.
hate my kids, too.
They both have permed hair. Okay. Thank you, Paulie. That was a good one.
You see, if that happened today, they'd put those kids in therapy. And
Oh, yeah.
Those kids, Fritz's kids are probably doing great today.
I wonder what they are doing today.
Well, the thing about that is Fritz and his new wife, Suzanne Kekich, they were the good match. They're still married. So those kids had a supportive household, probably.
Well, and the other
No.
one's got the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
So they're actually Mike's
Mike
kids.
Kekich and Marilyn Peterson, Fritz's old wife. They broke up immediately after.
Immediately.
Nobody could handle
soon after.
Marilyn.
Soon after. I don't know what that means in the scope of this grand.
And Mike was just like,
debacle.
I got him now. He doesn't know the half of this crazy bitch.
Yeah.
So Mike got away with no kids, actually.
Yeah, no wife either.
Yeah. No dog.
No doubt. Well,
He got out scot-free.
He did. He was married twice to two different women and ended up with no children,
Out of 4.
even though he had 4 at one point. Wow, that's amazing. And he probably still lives in the house.
I wonder how child support payments work out in that situation.
Yeah. You could really screw the other guy over.
Well, that definitely is a good one, Polly. Good to have you back and timely with opening day of baseball season upon us.
Well, you wouldn't believe how embarrassing some of these selfies are for these celebrities.
You got the most embarrassing. Show me the one that blew your
I
mind.
didn't even open it, but I just wanted to say that. You wouldn't believe how embarrassing these celebs' selfies are. My goodness.
You know what show is really going down the tubes is Good Morning America. It's turning into this ridiculous carnival of nonsense every morning. Hardly any real news. They built a room called the Social Media Hub or something like
Oh,
that.
really?
And it's this whole room with all these touch screens. And when they need to get some feedback from this world of social media, somebody walks in that room and starts hitting fake buttons on the wall. And it's just ridiculous. And they're just getting random comments from, somebody in Nebraska. We don't want their opinion. And George Stephanopoulos sits and endures it all. I'll never understand it. Next time you get a chance, check out a half hour of Good Morning America and tell me if you don't think so. If they're not talking about last night's Dancing with the Stars, they're finding out what Twitter has to say about Gwyneth Paltrow's statement.
That's crazy.
Did you hear what Gwyneth Paltrow said?
I know that her and her husband split up.
Well, she said that...
because I keep up on that kind of shit.
I got to find the exact quote if you guys will give me a moment. Dandy, you take it.
Run with us, Dandy.
Where are we going?
Just talk about anything for a second.
So far, so good.
Yeah, I don't have anything this week. I had a pretty boring weekend.
My son.
Hey, were you two assholes behind me last week?
Where?
On River Road?
What are we doing? I think we may have passed you around lunchtime.
Behind me.
I don't think so. You would have known if we were behind you, right?
I think you were.
Was it lunchtimes?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were going.
Was that
to
Tuesday?
Mexico.
I don't know what day it was.
I think I remember that.
We go all the way to Mexico for lunch.
Danny, you're an old school karate man. My son got his yellow belt this weekend. He's a yellow belt karate man.
Do you have to buy the belts? I got them all.
No, he didn't have to buy it.
They give them to him?
Yeah.
Does he do ones where he's got to put like colored tape on it?
Yeah,
and shit?
yes.
Does he?
Yeah.
We didn't have none of that when we were in karate.
Well, because it's all made up.
I want to take karate again.
You should. You'd probably be very good at it. You'd probably be better than my son.
Why, is that good?
What?
Does he go to like tournaments and shit?
No, not yet. No, we're not doing any of that yet.
Tournaments?
Those are my favorite.
Yeah, tournaments.
You just come home with trophies and shit all the time. Didn't I bring that thing in?
You got a karate trophy?
I do. I have a bunch of broken ones. I need them fixed.
Why? Because you...
I broke all the karate men off the top.
Why'd you do that?
With a swift heel kick?
I got shoved in boxes and
With
stuff.
A outside crescent kick?
I think I'd get hurt now, though. I don't think my body could handle karate.
Okay, I got this thing from Gwyneth Paltrow here.
What did she say?
Gwyneth Paltrow inadvertently sparked a global working mom revolt with her comments about how hard it is to juggle motherhood with the lifestyle of a globe-trotting superstar actress. And this is what Paltrow said. She said, "This is the statement that sparked a global working mom revolt. I think it's different when you have an office job because it's routine and, you can do all that stuff in the morning and then you come home in the evening. When you're shooting a movie, they're like, we need you to go to Wisconsin for 2 weeks, and then you work 14 hours a day, and that part of it is very difficult. I think to have a regular job and be a mom is not as... Of course there are challenges, but it's not like being on set." And that sparked a revolt.
Which is bullshit, because she made every concession in that statement to let everybody know that she does understand what it's like to have a regular job and that it is difficult. But it is not the same as having to change your routine every 2 weeks, which is totally valid. Her point is totally valid. But everybody's got to get pissed off about it.
Let's go to the Saucepot social media room and see what people...
I'll tell you, my wife didn't revolt. And that's what you're going to find when we go to the media room.
So that's something that Gwyneth Paltrow said. Hey, you can subscribe to the Saucepod on iTunes, Stitcher.com, or YouTube. Subscribe to FingerLakes1.com on YouTube. Subscribe to that channel.
Why can't Gwyneth Paltrow say that without sparking a global, worldwide working mother revolt or whatever the hell they called it, which is total bullshit. Maybe like a few people got upset. But no working moms revolted.
No, there wasn't a revolt. There was a murmur on Twitter.
And they're not going to boycott her films or anything. That's just dumb.
Yeah, there's no revolt going on. There was some backlash. There's a little backlash to that statement.
What is the backlash?
Twitter comments.
Oh, no.
People saying, one of them said something like...
Gwyneth Paltrow gets more notoriety. That's real great backlash. Any publicity is good publicity. Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that, Dandy.
Sometimes.
So you can also go to thesaucepod.com, thesaucepod.com, and hook up with us there via all those things I just mentioned. One of the great things about this show is that you're always going to stay up on the biggest news stories of the week. Just like Good Morning America, we try to bring you the important news that you need to start your day, in this case, end your day, on a Monday night. It's a Saucepod News Report.
Such a good news jam.
It's the best one.
You know, my friend has this a blog, well, it's a Tumblr that's all news jams. Whenever he finds a new news jam like that, he puts it on his Tumblr.
Really?
Yeah,
so
it's all
this
news
one,
jams.
This one must be on there.
I imagine it is.
What's the URL? Any idea?
I'll look it up right now.
Dateline, Chapel Hill, North Carolina. University of North Carolina athlete gets an A- on a paper.
Dang.
How hard do college athletes have to work in class at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill? The answer appears to be not very. An image from an ESPN report shows what's supposed to be the final paper written by a player in one of the school's athletic programs. It might get a C- in elementary school, and that's being generous. But at UNC, it earned an A-. I'm going to read you this paper here. It's titled, Rosa Parks, My Story. On the evening of December, Rosa Parks decided that she was going to sit in the white people section on the bus in Montgomery, Alabama. During this time, blacks had to give up their seat to whites when more whites got on the bus. Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat. Her and the bus driver began to talk, and the conversation went like this. "Let me have those front seats," said the driver. She didn't get up and told the driver that she was tired of giving her seat to white people. "I'm going to have you arrested," said the driver. "You may do that," Rosa Parks responded. 2 white policemen came in, and Rosa Parks asked them, "Why do you all push us around?" The police officer replied and said, "I don't know, but the law is the law, and you're under arrest."
That's the paper?
A-.
A-. On the evening of December it started.
Yeah, on the evening of December.
On the evening of December.
And it's also titled Rosa Parks, My Story, which I guess it's actually valid because it is his recollection of or his accounting of what happened on the bus that fateful day. And there's no, I don't know if it's football, basketball, or lacrosse or whatever, but it's an athlete at UNC apparently, so.
A-. It's newsjams.tumblr.com. Pretty simple.
Did you ever write a paper on Rosa Parks, Dandy?
Nope. Did you ever get an A-?
Nope. Dateline, O'Hara, Pennsylvania. Teen says typeface could save the government millions.
Dang.
A teenager has published a study suggesting the federal government could save millions of dollars a year in printing costs by switching to a thinner typeface that uses less ink. Suvir Mirkandani, Mirkandani, age 14, said he noticed there was plenty of talk at school about saving paper, and he wondered about saving ink. Suvir, who lives in the township of O'Hara just outside of Pittsburgh, said Friday that the idea began when he was in middle school, and he noticed that some teachers used heavier fonts for printing. He said he was already interested in graphic design and used a software program to estimate how much ink different typefaces or fonts used. The data was really surprising to me, he said, of how the differences added up, even for the printing done by his school district. He expanded the study to look at potential savings by the federal government, and a new paper on his research was published this month in the Journal of Emerging Investigators, a peer-reviewed journal created for promising middle and high school students. He found that the Office of Management and Budget had already estimated that federal agencies would spend about $1.8 billion in printing for the year, and that ink was more expensive than paper on a per-page basis. So in the new paper, A Simple Printing Solution to Aid Deficit Reduction, Souvier analyzed 5 documents produced by the U.S. government agencies and estimated how much ink would be used with 3 typefaces, Garamond, Times New Roman, and Century Gothic. The analysis estimated that using 12-point Garamond would save about 29% in ink costs. Souvier and his school district looked at the idea, but they have not been able to implement the switch. It didn't really catch on. I understand it's hard to make this type of change. Still, he's happy that his work succeeded in even just creating an awareness of how much ink different typefaces use. The government printing office praised Souvier's work and said it will review the printing suggestion. Dandy, what's your favorite font?
Whatever's set
Whatever is that.
on the computer.
That Souvier is the most handsome and attractive boy I've ever seen, said no girl at his school. My goodness, Souvier.
But pretty smart. And
Sure.
that big of a scale,
Sure.
the font you choose can save quite a bit of money. But the moral of the story is everybody thinks this is a groundbreaking, paper this kid wrote, but nobody's making the change. His own school couldn't even make the change.
That's pretty much the way of the world, though, isn't it?
He says, it didn't really catch on. I understand it's hard to make this kind of change. It really isn't.
No,
But when
all you
open
do
up the
is
documents,
Control A and then change the font and then print.
save it.
Whatever Dandy wants it to be set to.
And then
Comic Sans would be my guess. Is Dandy's favorite font.
that probably isn't going to save much on ink costs, but it sure will make for a more lighthearted faculty. Probably.
It's like watching The Simpsons all the time.
Dateline, Madison County, Georgia.
Oh, there's bridges there.
Teen accused of spending cash after bank error. Dang. Authorities say a Georgia teen is under arrest and accused of spending about $25,000 that a bank accidentally deposited into his account. The Madison County Sheriff's Department says 18-year-old Stephen Fields of Hull in northeastern Georgia turned himself in Friday. He faces a charge of theft by taking.
Theft by taking?
I didn't know there's any other type of theft.
So,
The department says a teller at a bank in Hull inadvertently deposited a check for approximately $31,000 into the wrong account. Authorities say the money was spent on purchases at a car dealership, various stores, and a fast food restaurant. Authorities say there was an effort to come to an agreement with Fields and the bank, and that Fields said he could not repay the money. Dandy, have you ever had a bank error in your favor?
Nope.
Not even in Monopoly?
I was going to say, in Monopoly, that's a big windfall. And they're not taking it back from you.
No,
it's
you
a bank error in your favor.
can buy any cars or
talking
fast
about
food
Monopoly.
restaurant or properties.
We're talking about Monopoly, Dandy. Because this guy had a bank error in his favor, and he, using his whatever he's learned from years and years of Monopoly, he went out and spent it on a car.
Yep, he bought
some other
Baltic
things.
Avenue.
Yeah. He put a house on it. And then the bank came back and said, you know what? You're accused of theft by taking.
And by that time, he'd already purchased St. James Place.
Yep. What are you going to do now?
No, if you deposited extra money, would the bank tell you?
If you deposited extra money,
Yeah.
the answer to that question is yes. I've made deposits where I had written the wrong number at the bottom of the deposit slip,
Sure.
and I either got a phone call or a letter that said, you have made an error in your deposit amount. Works both ways.
Bank error in our favor.
Yeah. So they do let you know. They're
So then you
pretty
shouldn't spend the money
pretty
if they give it to
diligent, pretty diligent about tracking their money.
Right down to
Banks.
the last cent. I mean, that's what they do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But this young kid just thought, this is a great windfall. I'm going to go spend this before anybody finds out what happened. Not knowing the ways of the bank.
Yeah. It's all documented. Like, it's all... There's no way you're getting away with
We
it.
had a young friend once who was mailed a check in someone else's name, and he cashed it. And
Well, yeah, we did.
the law caught up with him.
Yep.
It wasn't long before the law caught up with him.
The law has a long arm.
Oh, here's one. Dateline, Bacau, Romania. Man who swallowed fork admits it was a stupid idea.
Dang.
When Radu Calacuso, age 25, told doctors in the city of Bacau, Romania, that he was experiencing pain when he swallowed. He probably should have mentioned the utensil he ingested earlier that day. X-rays revealed the object, which became lodged in his throat after he gulped it down to win a bet with a friend to prove how tough he was. I had been drinking, and I bet my friend that I could swallow the fork without getting hurt. I put the fork in my mouth and managed to swallow it. I realize now it was a very stupid thing to do. I don't think I will be taking part in any bets for a while. The doctors were not impressed by the man's story and reportedly told him that they didn't have time to remove the fork, which was lodged in his esophagus, and apparently not immediately threatening any vital organs. They suggested to wait to see if the fork would take a natural course. Doctors would prescribe that.
Well, it depends on which way it was swallowed. Was it tines down or tines up?
It was actually tines up. I saw the x-ray.
Well, that's better.
It is better.
Because that would pass with a greater chance than tines down.
No, it seems like there's some tight corners down there.
You could throw it up easier.
They say that if you take the intestines of one human, it will stretch to the moon and back 14 times. So you can
nobody has ever said that.
But there's a lot of intestines in there, and there's a lot of tight turns, and I just can't see how that would make its way through without really causing some serious injury.
Yeah, Danny, have you ever swallowed a fork?
Nope.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever swallowed?
I ate a tube of chapstick for $5 one time.
Just the inside.
Well, no, not the whole tube, just the inside. It was Lip Smackers chocolate. It was good. I'd do it again right now for $5. I would.
It's harmless, right?
Yeah, I guess. It's just a waxy substance. I don't know. I did it, and I'd do it again. I stand by that.
That, my friends, is all the news.
Baby, you got a stew going.
Danny has to get up so early in the morning. He's so tired by this time of night. If you were home right now, or if it was Tuesday night or Wednesday night, you'd be sleeping by now?
100%.
That is amazing.
Even in the summer when it stays light out till like 9?
Yep.
Well, I don't want to hold you up any longer from your slumber. We just got to find out what everybody recommends here tonight, and then we can put a wrap on it. Now, this is a part of the show where we each recommend something to our listeners, and a lot of times it really can have a profound impact on our listeners. And at the very least, usually each week you're going to find one thing that you can maybe look forward to or try that's going to positively impact your life. So, Dandy R&D, what do you recommend to our listeners this week?
Absolutely nothing this week.
Nice.
Not one thing.
You got nothing to recommend?
No.
It's hard, sometimes you go a week and you just don't find anything noteworthy.
You didn't do anything that was like, wow, this is pretty cool. I should tell someone about it.
Nah. Nothing.
How about you recommend that everyone just take a moment and reflect on the life
I
of
told everybody
Ralph
to read
Wilson
last
Jr.
week.
You did?
Yeah.
That was his recommendation.
I don't remember that.
Listen. I recommend everybody listen.
This week, listen before you talk.
Just listen.
Listen.
Just listen to
Listen to the sounds around you.
Everything.
That's really good, Dandy.
And Saucy Joe, what do you recommend?
I don't really think I can top that. That's really good.
Easy to pull off, too.
Yeah. This kind of goes against what I was saying earlier about food. That really doesn't thrill me, like I said. But I had a nice night out with my wife the other night at the Gould Hotel. We went and had dinner right at the bar, actually, and it was good.
And what did you guys eat?
I had prime rib.
Oh, yes.
At the bar?
At the
bar.
Gould Hotel downtown Seneca Falls.
I had prime rib. I also had 3 beers. at the bar. Sat there. My wife had a couple glasses of wine. She got some fish. And it was really nice. We just sat there and stared into each other's eyes. And also talked to Doc Camuso for a long time. And I stared into his eyes.
Now, I ate a restaurant, Rio Tomatlin in Canandaigua. It's not my recommendation officially, but you know what? I got to recommend that place because it's fantastic, fantastic Mexican food. Fantastic. Service not the best. Weird place. Tough to find. They don't market very well on the outside, and it's in Canandaigua. But the food is very, very good. Very good indeed. My official recommendation, though, is a movie, 12 Years a Slave. Guess what? It's good.
A light-hearted romp.
Light-hearted romp through the hills of Georgia. Dan, you familiar with the plot?
Nope. Nope.
It's a movie about a man who was, he's a black man who lived in Saratoga Springs, New York with his family. And they had a house and everything.
He recognized all the locations in the film in this one.
He was a freedman, so he had papers and everything, but he was a fiddle player, and someone had invited him to perform in Washington, D.C., and when he was in D.C., he was kidnapped and sent down and sold again into slavery, where he stayed for 12 years. And I won't spoil it for you, but...
Don't worry, you're not gonna.
It's a good movie. Good movie. It's not gonna... It's not gonna make you laugh. You're not gonna laugh much.
I'm not gonna watch it. If I'm not laughing, I'm not watching.
Only funny movies for you?
That slave stuff doesn't interest me.
just end it right there. Just end the show.
So,
you can tell about it. What I'm trying to say is you say whatever you want about it. You ain't gonna ruin the movie for me.
Right.
I'm not gonna watch it.
it won a lot of awards this
It's an
award
award-winning
season.
film.
Yep. That's the main reason. There's a lot of movies to choose from. But I said, you know, that one won so many awards.
13 editions that'll turn an average dish into an epic dish.
Number 17 will make your taste buds explode.
Oh, man. They're all over.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
It's ruining society. It really is. People are
When
just
will
like,
it end?
I got to see this list. They're just so tempting to click on.
Yeah.
You waste your time. And they never deliver, America.
Never.
So anyways, Dandy's tired. Coming up here on 9:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And No Time for the Behavioral Slink by Will Wiles. But thank you for joining us for episode 142 of the Sauce Pod. We'll be back next Monday night at 8:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mysterious Taco Girl will be back. Good night now.